Namo Namaha, Bhavtam Sarvesham, Hartam Swagatam. Welcome back to my channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And continuing with the series, Learning Sanskrit through Gita, today we'll start the third shloka from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But before starting today's video, there is one very important thing that I want to address here. And this is regarding a pronunciation mistake that some of the viewers have pointed out that I've made in my previous videos. So let's talk about that mistake because this is a very common pronunciation mishap that happens for the native Hindi speakers like me. So I am a native Hindi speaker. So while I'm decoding the shloka, while I'm working on that grammar part and everything, when I'm speaking any Sanskrit word, so sometimes the slip happens. Sometimes my Hindi creeps in my Sanskrit pronunciation, and that perverts the correct pronunciation of the Sanskrit word. And this pronunciation mistake is the most common with the words that involve a risva a either in the beginning or in the end. And now to demonstrate this point, the pronunciation mistake that I'm referring to here, in the previous chapter, the 46th shloka, I'll put the shloka on the screen. There is this word mama pratikaram. Mama pratikaram. So this is the word in the original Sanskrit shloka. So one way to pronounce this is mam pratikaram, and another way is mama pratikaram. So I hope this difference is audible in the way I'm speaking these words. Mam pratikaram, mama pratikaram, mama pratikaram. So this is how it should be pronounced, but in the video I have made this mistake by pronouncing it as mam pratikaram, because when I pronounce this word as mam pratikaram, so for the listener this will feel like the individual words are mam pratikaram. So mam is to me, pratikaram is someone who is revengeful, who is ready to take revenge, right? Okay, but when I pronounce it as mama pratikaram, so mama pratikaram, so then we know that mama, after that ma of that this word mama, there is another a also, and that a belongs to this pratikaram. So the words actually that are present in the shloka are mam, that is to me, that is all right, but a pratikaram. So mama pratikaram instead of mam pratikaram, because pratikaram and apratikaram, they are completely opposite word. So that is the pronunciation mistake that I wanted to clarify here. And again, suppose we take another word as udakena. So I can pronounce this word as, actually I should pronounce this word as udakena, because see, every varna that is present in the word should be correctly pronounced. U, the. So I cannot say the, I have to say the, because there is a involved in it. Uda, ke na, uda ke na. So this is the way I should have pronounced, but again in the actual video, I have pronounced it as udkena, udkena. So see again the difference. Udkena, udakena. So again, udken, this looks like that there is half the and there is half na. Udken. But the word should be udakena, udakena. The proper pronunciation, so that you get that riswa a also. You get the feeling of that riswa a also, that is attached with all the consonants, right? Udakena. So this is a very common pronunciation mistake that happened to me in my previous videos, and I think for all the other native Hindi speakers, this can be the problem. But it's good that someone has pointed this out to me, and so that I can address this in my video. So I hope this pronunciation mistake that I was making is clear for all of you also. If you are also making that same mistake that I did, I'll try my best to not repeat this mistake in my future videos starting from this, due to my native Hindi speaking from throughout my life. During the flow of the lesson, I sometimes slip and mispronounce these small nuances of Sanskrit. But anyways, that was the point I wanted to address here. And again, all the viewers that are watching this video, if any of you have any feedback regarding anything, because all of us are learning Sanskrit right now. I don't claim to be a Sanskrit expert. I am also learning with you all. So every day I myself practice Sanskrit chanting, Sanskrit grammar vocabulary. So it is very possible I make some mistake. If I make some mistake, please let me know. In the comment box, you have email ID and phone number in the end of the video. You can always contact me for any suggestion, for any feedback, for any criticism, anything. Please be very open with the feedback that you are giving me. If I make a mistake, please point it out to me. I'll try my best to correct it in my future videos so that whatever we are learning, we learn it right. Okay, so having said that, now coming back to the shloka, let us start with the shloka for today. This is the third shloka, as we said, of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Let me go through the shloka once. Klaibyam masma gamah partha naitatvayupapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvo tishtha parantapa. So this is the shloka, and this here is the Sandhi Vichhed version of the shloka. So you have Sandhi that is happening between this na etat. So you have this word na etat that is combining as naitat. And then you have the Sandhi happening between tvai upapadyate. So there is another Sandhi also happening. Sandhi is also happening here. So all the Sandhi details anyways again is present in the PDF file. Download the PDF file, go through the Sandhi sections. The PDF file also contains all the word by word breakdown of the entire shloka. So if I miss out anything in the video, this is present in the PDF file. But now let us start decoding the shloka, and we start with this combination ma sma gamaha. So this combination ma sma gamaha, and this entire combination essentially means do not yield to. Okay, do not yield to. That is the meaning. Now, what is happening here? Ma sma gamaha. What kind of dhatu roop or kriya pad is this? So actually, there is only this one dhatu roop. These both, ma and sma, they both are avyay. Ma we have already seen so many times. Ma is not. Whenever we want to say not, do not. So karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That te adhikaraha, your right, ma phaleshu. Your right is not on the result of the action. Phaleshu, result of the action. So that to say is not on the result. There we use ma phaleshu, not on the result. So we know this. We have already seen this avyay so many times before, ma. Okay, and this is ma. This is also an avyay, and this is generally used when we want to convey the past continuous form. And we generally use this particular avyay with a present tense form. So suppose I am writing pathati. So pathati is suppose something, saha pathati, that he studies. But I want to say that he was studying. I want to convey this, that past continuous, he was studying. So what I'll do, saha pathati sma. So that is what we do. So this, that in order to show the action done in the past, but using this present tense form, pathati is a present tense form, saha pathati alone will mean he studies. But saha pathati sma, this will mean he was studying. So this is the use of this sma, this avyay, and this particular here, gamaha. So actually some what you say, back end working is happening in this entire sentence. But first, this gama essentially is coming from the dhatu gam. And gam dhatu we have seen before also. Gam dhatu means to go. Okay. And again, why I'm using yield instead of go or going or went, whatever the form is. See, whenever we are talking about a destination, an actual place, then we say that, okay, he goes to that place. He goes to Delhi. He goes to Bombay. So when there is an actual place, you can use this to go in that sense. But if instead of an actual place, you are talking about a mental state or an emotion, so instead of saying that you go to anger, yeah, instead of saying this, the better way of saying is you yield to anger, right? That in the fit of the moment, I yielded to anger. We don't say that I went to anger, because this just does not sound right. But the use of dhatu is still the same that we use for to go. So whatever dhatus in Sanskrit denote this meaning to go, so all those dhatus can be used to convey this meaning also when you are talking about a mental condition, a emotion. Okay, so anyways, that was just one thing I wanted to clarify. But gam dhatu, that means to go. Here, this particular dhatu is in the form that gam dhatu in second person, that is Madhyam Purush. Why? Because in the shloka, Shri Krishna is directly addressing to Arjuna. So since direct addressing by the speaker to the listener, so that is why we are using second person Madhyam Purush. So in Madhyam Purush, second person singular, and aorist tense, that is lung lakar in Sanskrit. So aorist, lung lakar, what is this lung lakar? Again, in Sanskrit, basically you have three different tense, three different lakar to point past tense. So as I said that in order to show this past tense in Sanskrit, you have three different lakar. There is this lung lakar, that is imperfect past tense. There is this lung lakar, that is this aorist And then there is this lit lakar, that is past perfect tense. So these three different lakar point to the events done in the past. What's the difference? A very subtle difference. This lang lakar, this is used when the action is done in the past day that does not include today. So see, the time I'm making this video, it is 3:15 p.m. So whatever I did before 3:15 p.m., that is also past tense, right? But in that case, I cannot use this lang lakar, because lang lakar we use when we have to show the events, the action done in the past that does not include today, this day. Then you have this lung lakar. Lung lakar is used for in general, in past, like whatever event happened in the past, for all those things you can use lung lakar. But still, this is the most common one, lung lakar. We generally use apathat, akhadat. All these forms are under this only, lung lakar. The use of lung lakar is, we don't see much use of lung lakar. But just to know, this is the differences, that lung lakar is all events that are done in the past and that is directly witnessed by the speaker. Okay, lit lakar. What is lit lakar? So lit lakar is action done in the past that was not directly witnessed by the speaker. So, and that is why we use lit lakar for the events that happened in the distant past. Because obviously something that happened in the distant past, that is not being directly seen by the speaker. So in that case, we always use this lit lakar, and lit lakar have its fair use in Sanskrit. We often see the words in lit lakar, right? But anyways, that is the thing, that in Sanskrit, past tense, you have three different forms, lang lakar, lung lakar and lit lakar. But here in our case, the gam dhatu is in second person singular and lung lakar, and due to this, the verb form, the dhatu root becomes agamaha. Agamaha. This is the verb form. But what happens is, with the use of this ma, sma, with this combination preceding this word agamaha, what happens is this a is removed. This a is removed, and the sense of this dhatu should be past tense, right? This is a form of past tense. But due to this combination, this ma, sma, due to this combination before this, actually the sense, the feel becomes of a lot lakar. This. And what is lot lakar? Lot lakar is when we have to give a order. When we give an order or a request, in this case an order. So due to this ma, sma, before this lung lakar form, the feeling becomes of an order. Okay, and that is why this entire combination ma, sma, gamaha, this translates as do not yield to. This translates as this, and do not yield. So this looks like an order, right? This looks like a lot lakar thing. So suppose you were to use that, instead of doing all this, suppose I was directly going to use a lot lakar, that gam dhatu in the same three conditions, that is second person madhyam purush, ekvachan, that is singular, and lot lakar. So in lot lakar, second person singular, this gam dhatu would have changed as gachha. Okay, and since I want to say that don't, I want to convey this, that do not, so I'll simply add ma. So the entire combination would have become ma gachha. Ma gachha, do not go. Or in case of emotions or a mental situation, mental condition, do not yield. So it would have made the more or less the same meaning. But again, since in the shloka we have this ma, sma, gamaha, so all that explanation that followed. Okay, so a bit of a bit of a complex explanation, and quite honestly, I have also not find out a very precise and very exact explanation for this combination. But this is a very rare combination. I have only seen this in this particular chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So for the sake of understanding it right now, ma, sma, gamaha, simply take it as do not yield to. Okay, and with this, we are starting the shloka further. And now an obvious question will be Kim, that what? Do not yield to what? So, klaibyam. This is the main word. This is the key word here, klaibyam. And the pratipadika, klaibya, this is a neuter gender pratipadika. Neuter gender, and of course here this is in which word case if I want to ask you. So this shabdroop is obviously in the second case, the dutiya vibhakti. Why? Because do not yield to what? So what is the karma of this activity, of this action? What is the karma? This is the karma. This is the object. And objects generally are in dutiya vibhakti, second word case, right? So the pratipadika klaibya in second word case, dutiya vibhakti, ekvachan here changes into klaibyam. That's what we see in this shloka. And the word klaibya, this means impotency. Impotency or cowardliness. And by impotency, someone who lacks potency. someone who is totally powerless right now. Because if you remember in the 29th shloka of the chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, we saw this that Arjuna says, Mama gatrani sidanti, sidanti mama gatrani. What he meant was that my limbs, they are losing power, they are trembling, they are shaking, they are losing power. And then further in the 30th shloka, the next shloka, he mentions gandivam sramsate hastat, that hastat from my hand, gandivam my bow, sramsate is slipping off. So he already mentioned that condition, no, that his limbs are losing power, they are trembling with fear, and the bow in his hand, it is slipping off because the entire body is like feeling powerless and completely powerless. So all that feeling is somehow reflected here using this word klaibya, that impotency, that Arjuna right now is feeling like an impotent person. Now the entire meaning becomes that Arjuna, do not yield to klaibyam, do not yield to impotency. Or this klaibya also means cowardliness. So do not yield to cowardliness. That is what very strictly Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna. So this is the first part. Let us move on now. And see, now Shri Krishna further continues and says, Na upapadyate. Upapadyate, this is the main dhatu roop. And this particular dhatu roop, upapadyate, this is coming from the dhatu pad. And this dhatu again is used in the sense to go or to attain. Okay, to go to a certain place, to attain to a certain mental condition, a certain emotion. And this dhatu in third person, singular, and the normal latlakar, present tense in Sanskrit latlakar. So in third person singular latlakar, this pad, it changes into padyate. Okay, this form. And along with the upsarg up, the entire word becomes upapadyate. Upapadyate. And upapadyate, along with this prefix upsarga, upapadyate, the meaning becomes that something befit. Something befit or something look appropriate. What thing we'll see, but something befit or something look appropriate. That is the sense here. Since this particular dhatu roop is preceded by this na, so obviously the meaning is negated here. Okay, na upapadyate, it does not look appropriate. So that is the meaning. Now what does not look appropriate? And the response we get is etat na upapadyate. Etat. Etat, this simply means this. It's a pronoun. And this etat, this is pointing to this previous word, klaibyam, obviously. Okay, so Shri Krishna first says that Arjuna masma gamaha klaibyam, that do not yield to klaibyam, do not yield to impotency. And then of course is further continuing by saying etat na upapadyate. Etat, this state of you falling into this cowardliness, this helplessness, this state of klaibyam, this state of impotency, etat, this na upapadyate, it does not look appropriate, it does not befit. Okay, so that is a sense. Since this etat is a pronoun for this word klaibyam, as we saw, so of course this is taking the same form. So this etat, this is coming from the pratipadik etad. And this etad, this is a pronoun. That is a very common pronoun we use when we have to point out to something that is close by, when we have to make a close reference to something. So in English, what we use this. So to denote this pronoun, we use etat in Sanskrit. That is the pratipadik, and of course using the same form as its noun. Klaibyam. Klaibyam, this is a neuter gender noun in second case singular. So this etat also is in neuter gender, second case singular. And in all these three conditions, etat, this changes into etat. Okay, what we see in the shloka. So etat na upapadyate, this impotency does not look appropriate and does not look appropriate on you. So that is how you complete the sentence, right? And that is what the additional information is. That kasmin, on who? This does not look appropriate on who? So what we get is twayi. Twayi na upapadyate. This twayi is coming from the yushmat pronoun. And we use this pronoun for the second person, madhyam purush. So everything that is related to the second person, you, yourself, you all, on you, yours, all these sense, we use this pronoun yushmat. And since I want to say that this does not look appropriate on you, since I want to convey this on, so obviously I'm using the seventh case singular. In seventh case singular, yushmat, this changes into twayi, that what we see in the shloka. Okay, because on you. And the entire sentence becomes klaibyam masma gamaha, do not yield to impotency, etat, this impotency, Tvai na upapadyate. It does not look appropriate on you. It does not befit you. That is what Shri Krishna is saying. Okay, so I hope so far so good. Let us move on. So see, in this first line of the shloka, Krishna tells Arjuna what not to do. And now in the second line, he is going to tell what Arjuna should do. So we'll start with this word uttishtha. And uttishtha, this means get up. So talking directly to someone that you get up. Get up in the sense you stand up. Okay, I've put this exclamation mark just to show that it is like an order. That get up, stand up in that tone and order. But anyways, uttishtha. This verb form is of course coming from the dhatu stha. We have seen this dhatu so many times. Stha dhatu means to stay or to stand. And this particular dhatu, stha dhatu in second person, madhyam purush. Again, why? The action is being directly attributed to Arjuna. Shri Krishna is directly asking Arjuna to do that action. So, directly talking to the listener. So, second person, Madhyam Purush, singular, Arjuna, one character. And lot lakar, that is imperative mood in Sanskrit. Lot lakar, imperative mood, when we want to give a order or request. Krishna is saying this to Arjuna as a order. So, stha dhatu in second person, singular, lot lakar, this changes into so tishtha. Tishtha, this will mean that you stay in that sense. You stay or you keep standing wherever you are in that sense. That to stay or to stand, that is the meaning of this dhatu, right? So you stay, you keep standing in that sense. But again, we are using in the form of you stand up, you get up. So in that sense, we use the ut, this prefix. And along with this prefix, this upsarga, the meaning becomes stand up or get up in that sense. Okay, uttishta, that you get up, you stand up. Okay, and then I ask this question, kim kritva, that okay, you get up, but after doing what? Having done what? There is some action that happens prior to this action. There is some action that should happen prior to this action. So kim kritva, after doing what? And the response we get from the shloka is this, tyaktva. Tyaktva uttishta. Tyaktva, this simply means having abandoned, that after abandoning, after letting off. This tyaktva, this is coming from the dhatu, tyaj dhatu. And tyaj dhatu means the same thing, to abandon. Okay, to abandon, to let go of something, to abandon something. And since I want to say that having abandoned or after abandoning, this is the information that I want to convey. Okay, so in order to convey this, after doing an action or having done an action, we have the suffix, the pratyay tva. We have seen this suffix so many times before. Using that same suffix, tyaj plus tva, this changes into this form, tyaktva. So having abandoned, uttisht, get up. That is the sense here. But the question is now, after abandoning what? And that is this word, hridaya daurbalyam. And hridaya daurbalyam, this simply means weakness of heart. Okay, this hridaya daurbalyam, this of course is a samasa, is a combination word. What are the combined words? Daurbalya and hridaya. Hridaya means heart. Okay, we already know this word. And daurbalya, this actually is a word that is derived from another word, another pratipadik, and that pratipadik is durbal. So this is a very common Hindi word also, durbala. This simply refers to a weak person. And from this particular word only, this particular pratipadik only, this daurbalya is derived. The meaning is in the qualitative sense of this word. So durbala, a weak person. What is the quality? Weakness. That is the quality, the bhav. In that sense, durbalasya bhavaha iti daurbalya. Okay, so daurbalya, this means weakness. And since I want to say that weakness of heart, so of heart, this hriday will use the sixth case. So hriday will change into hridayasya. Hridayasya, that means of heart. So hridayasya daurbalyam iti hridaya daurbalyam. That is how this samas opens it. This is the logic of this samas. That hridayasya daurbalyam, the weakness of heart, that is hridaya daurbalyam, because we have simply combined both these words together. Hridaya daurbalya, this becomes the new pratipadika. Then, since this is the object of this action, tyaktva, so we are just using it in a dutiya vibhakti, second word case form. So hridaya daurbalyam, that forms come. Okay, and we also have an adjectives, kidrisham. We also have an adjective that is describing this weakness of heart. So that is this kshudram. And this word kshudram, this is coming from the pratipadik shudra. This pratipadik, shudra simply means, as we say in English, no, petty. Okay, petty, that means like worthless, like very, very tiny, very unimportant in that sense, petty. No, petty fights. that unnecessary, unworthy fights. So in that sense, Kshudra. So that is how Shri Krishna is describing this Hridaya Daurbalyam of Arjuna's. That this weakness of heart, he's saying this is a petty weakness of heart. This is an unimportant. And since this is an adjective, Kshudra is an adjective for this word. So Kshudra also is being used here in the second case singular form, just like its main noun. So Hridaya Daurbalya changes into Hridaya Daurbalyam. Same way, Kshudra changes into Kshudram. Because it's an adjective, and adjective and pronouns always follow everything of its noun. And I hope all these words are clear now. So we have the Anvay and the translation now. In this particular shloka, Krishna addresses Arjuna with two different names. One is this Partha and another is this Parantapa. So both these different nouns used here in the shloka, this is actually just, both these words are in seventh case, that is Sambodhana Vibhakti. Why we use Sambodhana Vibhakti? When we are directly addressing someone as O Arjuna, O Rama, O Krishna. So in all that sense, we use the Sambodhana Vibhakti, that is the seventh word case. That is what it is, Partha and Parantapa. Both of these just different names of Arjuna. And why is Arjuna called Partha? Because her mother name is Pritha. So in Mahabharata, we generally refer to his mother as Kunti. That Kunti name she gets when she is adopted by King Kunti Bhoja. So when she is adopted, the King Kunti Bhoja gave his mother this name, Kunti, but her original name is Pritha. Okay, and since to show the son of Pritha, this we have studied about this, no, Apatya Vachik Sangya, that whenever we have to show the descendant of some person, that Pandu changes into Pandava, Kuru changes into Kaurava. To show the son of Draupadi, we change Draupadi into Draupadeya. So this is Apatya Vachak. Okay, so in Sanskrit we can derive a name of a person from his this father or mother. That is what is happening here. Pritha is the name of mother. The son of Pritha, descendant of Pritha, changes into Partha. So that is how Arjuna gets this name Partha. Why Parantapa? So Parantapa, this name actually means scorcher of enemies. Because this entire word Parantapa can be understood as Paran Shatrun Tapyati Yaha. And Yaha, one who, Tapyati, one who burns like scorches. One who scorches Paran Shatrun, the other enemies. Basically, one who scorches his enemies. Paran Shatrun Tapyati Yaha Saha Parantapa. So in this way, this name is formed for Arjuna, because in order to say that Arjuna is one who slays his enemies, Arjuna is the one who destroys, completely annihilates his enemies. Okay, so in that decorative sense, he is given this name Parantapa. Paran Shatruna Tapyati Yaha Saha Parantapa can be used for anyone in order to denote this. But anyways, these are the two names that Krishna is using in the shloka to refer to Arjuna. So Anvay, Parth, that is, O son of Pritha, Klaibyam Masma Gamaha, that do not yield to Klaibyam, do not yield to such impotency, such cowardliness, such unmanliness. Yataha, that is because, this again is not in the shloka, I am just using it to tie up the entire meaning. So Yataha, because, Etat, that is this impotency, Tvai na upapadyate, this impotency, this cowardliness, na upapadyate, is not appropriate, does not look appropriate, Tvai, on you. Okay, so O son of Pritha, do not yield to such impotency, as this does not look appropriate on a warrior like you, on a warrior of such a stature as you are. It does not look good. That is what Shri Krishna is trying to convey Arjuna. And then he continues by saying, Parantapa, that O scorcher of the enemies, O destroyer of the enemies, Uttishta. He is asking Arjuna to get up and get ready to fight the war. No, Parantapa, O scorcher of enemies, Uttishta, stand up. And stand up after doing what? Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Kshudram, petty. Hridaya Daurbalyam, weakness of heart. So Tyaktva, having abandoned this petty weakness of heart, Uttishta, get up, stand up, and get ready to fight the war. Okay, and with this, we wrap up the entire translation of the shloka. Do download that PDF file from the link in the description box, because all the sandhi that is happening in the shloka, how it is happening, all the word by word breakdown of the words, it is available there. So you can use that PDF file to practice these shlokas in some later time, okay, and for some reference also later at some time. And also whatever we discussed in the initial part of the video about that pronunciation or that mispronunciation for all the Sanskrit words, that includes this risva a, either in the beginning or in the end. So I hope that point that I was trying to make was clear to all of you also, and as I said that I'll try to not repeat that mistake. I'll try to be more cautious of that thing. Again, in the flow, sometimes that slip happens, but in the meantime, I also keep on practicing this Gita chanting and Sanskrit pronunciation. So in the meantime, it will definitely improve. But that point was necessary. I hope you will also take a note of it. But that was it for today. I'll meet you in the next video with the next shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy. Vayam puna melamaha. Dhanyavad.